We've just checked with our lawyers, and apparently we're not allowed to award Sekiro's Genichiro Ashina boss fight the #1 spot for 2 years running. While this is an outrage in our books, thankfully 2020 has delivered some immensely memorable video game jewels that make for adequate substitutions. Overcoming in-game challenges has been a great mood booster this year, so join us as we look back at 5 of the best boss fights from 2020. Oh, and given these are bosses we're discussing, expect major spoilers for the following games. Number 5. The Tower Knight. There are definitely more challenging or technically interesting bosses in Demon's Souls that could have snagged a place on this list. But playing through the PS5 remake for the first time, the Tower Knight is hard to forget. His grand arena is distractingly pretty, but it isn't long before you're reminded that, yes, this is a Souls game you signed up to play. The giant metallic warrior towering before you is only the start of your troubles, as crossbowmen stack the parapets and train their sights upon you. Yeah, this is a game that has no intention of playing fair. As a demo of next-gen tech, the fight is a visual and auditory feast, and uncovering his Achilles-style weakness will teach you much about how to approach the game's future bosses. The many-pointed phalanx may be the game's first mighty foe, but it's with the Tower Knight that Demon's Souls really kicks into gear. Number 4. The Rat King. For much of The Last of Us Part 2, Infected take a back seat as tense human factions vie for control of Seattle. Until, that is, the latter half of the game sees Abby forced to confront one of the oldest plant zombies out there. Apparently, someone at Naughty Dog is a big fan of Resident Evil games, because the ominous run-up to this boss fight in a secret, underground lab had us expecting Chris Redfield to jump out at any second and save the day. No such luck here, sadly, though Abby is definitely packing boulder-punching biceps to rival the Redfield. When you do finally come face to, faces with this roiling mass of limbs and flesh, it certainly lives up to expectations. The Rat King is a horrific amalgamation of Infected, capable of taking you down in a single hit as it lurches through the dark. Even when you think you might have won, this behemoth just sloughs off part of its body, forcing you to deal with both it and a stalker infected at once. It's cruel, terrifying, and still flailing its way through our nightmares to this day.
Hey, damn it!
Number 3. Theseus and Asterius. In Hades, regular foes are just fodder. Everything comes down to how well your current build can handle the mightiest champions of the underworld. And even among them, not all are equal. The Furies, an early obstacle. That pesky Hydra, a slow worm at best. Even the big man himself can't hold a candle to Hades' true bosses. One of them is massive, and the other is a massive dick. Yes, it's everyone's least favorite champions, Theseus and Asterius.
Come forth and die, preferably with some amount of dignity.
The Elysium's boss battle is the biggest and most sharply pointed stepping stone on the path to successful Hades runs. Make it through those hallowed halls and no glory awaits you. Only the mighty axe of Asterius and the pinpoint strikes of Theseus. Oh, and just when you think you've gotten to grips with the battle, Hades reveals its ultimate trap card. Theseus can also call on the favor of the gods.
Gods of Olympus, I shall stop this monster!
Supergiant at least had the decency to make Zagreus react with the same level of indignant outrage as us, but it doesn't make the fight any easier. Still, at least every run is a chance to wipe that smug grin from Theseus's face. Number 2. Mega Maki. Should boss fights really make you hungry? Such philosophical conundrums lie at the very heart of Bugsnax. While most of the game's animated treats are small, skittering creatures, the Mega Maki is an immense beast, only encountered at the tail end of a soul-searching quest. This behemoth of a quite literal dragon roll cruises through the water and skies, bellowing its name and erupting its toppings upon you. It sounds ridiculous, and that's because it is. Bugsnax manages to create epic, entertaining boss fights out of the strangest, not to mention tastiest, substances, and then it expects you to maintain your composure while tackling them. The best thing about Bugsnax bosses is that they're actually inventive puzzles disguised as fights. There's no way to die or fail, but that won't stop Megamaki from bopping you to and fro once you finally figure out how to split it apart. There are plenty of great fights in the game, but the Megamaki had us laughing, screaming, and salivating all in one. Number 1. Slime Climb. By now, we are seasoned slime survivors, conquerors of the climb. But back when Fall Guys first released, this level was the great divider. The separation between the skilled beans and the wolfies of the world. Unlike most rounds in the game, one wrong slip here means instant elimination. As a result, it wasn't uncommon for fewer than 10 players out of 30 to successfully reach the end. It didn't take long for everyone to figure out the optimal paths, as well as a few cheeky shortcuts on their way up the hill. But developer Mediatonic wasn't about to let us get comfortable. Since release, several terrifying variations have been added to the mix, throwing hammers, yeetuses, and the dreaded thick bonkus in our path. Sure, this might not be a traditional boss battle per se, but seeing Slime Climb rock up on the randomized level rotation is far more intimidating than anything else drawn from Fall Guys' uncomfortably squelchy bag of tricks. Our first time scaling this tower of slippery slopes, balance beams, and precarious pathways delivered a dose of euphoria to match even the toughest of Dark Souls fights, so we reckon it has a well-deserved place on our list. And those were our 5 picks for the greatest boss fights of 2020. But we've no doubt there are some other awesome adversaries out there that we've missed. Let us know your favorites in the comments below. Thanks for joining us here at HyperX, and feel free to check out any of the other videos on your screen now.